Welcome to the Market Smarter, Sell More podcast. I'm your host, Andy Barnett, joined as always by the man who puts Hayes in Hayes Group, Mr. Adam Hayes.
What's going on?
What's up? Hey, I just recently learned that we are the #1 podcast in America on LinkedIn for 48 to 49-year-olds that airs on Fridays, based out of the South Fishers area. It's fact. Don't research it.
Wow.
Just take my word for it.
You know, something to be proud of.
I know.
I don't know if all of that would fit on a plaque.
We should try, right?
We should try.
That's right. We should try. And at the bottom, don't research it.
Yeah.
Don't research it. Take our word for it.
It's a fact.
That's right. We are going to have a shorter intro segment today because we have an extended podcast today with our friends from Crazy King.
Crazy King.
So we're going to jump directly into the not asking the expert segment. And I've got a good one. I've been thinking about this one. I hope it's good.
You've been thinking about this a while, I can tell.
I know I have. Okay. So I've got a company. I got a pretty good website. It seems, functional. How often and I'm not talking about a rebrand. How often should I refresh my website just to give it a fresh look? Or should I?
Is it working?
Yeah, it works fine. It works fine, but just to keep up with the standard,
Is it doing what you want?
Yes, it works fine.
Why would you mess with it?
Just aesthetically speaking, do I want to change the way it looks just to get a little bit more modern? As say it's 8 to 10 years old, people maybe aren't using those kind of fonts or those, those designs.
Can you pull it up on a mobile phone?
Could I?
I mean, does it look good on a mobile phone?
I don't know. You're getting way down the depths of hypotheticals now.
I mean, most of your traffic nowadays is going to come from mobile phones. I mean, 70 to 80% at least.
Okay.
Maybe more.
So if I'm thinking of a Pepsi, for instance, just throwing a name out there, they have, I'm sure their website's functional, works fine, but they always seem to kind of refresh their brand every, 5-6 years. I remember growing up, always remembering, now Pepsi's direct competitor. This is not great for Pepsi, but Coke. I used to always remember Coke would always have their tagline.
Yeah.
Coke is it. I remember that being the big one. The real thing. There was always all those different.
Yeah. And you remember the iconic Coke commercial, right?
Yeah.
The one where Santa's coming to town and they're driving the 18-wheeler truck in the snow. It's iconic.
And what's the buy the world a Coke? The one that was the final scene of Mad Men.
Yeah.
So they always had the, so how often should my company, who's not Pepsi or Coke, my hypothetical company here, how often should I just kind of refresh it a little bit? Not a complete rebrand.
I mean, it really depends. Is it working?
Yes.
And if you have the metrics to tell you it's not working,
Mm-hmm.
then you probably should refresh it. But I mean, by all intents and purposes, no reason to spend money if it's still working and working well. Right.
It's functional.
But it should be metrics driven, that decision usually.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what other metrics do you have to go on to make that decision?
Right.
You really should let it be metrics driven.
Right. I didn't know if you waited until then it's too late and your competition is surpassing you. They're all getting these fancy new bells and whistles and it looks real pretty and it's all interactive and new technology that's come along. They've implemented it to their homepage and it looks all fancy. I'm like, hey, mine doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But it's still driving results.
Yeah. I mean, it's the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Uh-huh.
Like, the competition booming ahead. We're not. I mean, that can be an impetus as well, but mostly it should be a metrics driven decision, right?
Yeah.
Based on, hey, we're seeing a slide off in our results from our website, then you should look at redoing it.
Doing a little bit of a refresh and all right.
But don't just do it to do it. I mean, make a decision based on, the numbers telling you, hey,
spend money.
Hey, if you want to spend money,
that's right. Contact the Hayes Group.
Get some lottery tickets, man.
That's right. All right. We'll keep it short and sweet. And we will jump directly after this break here and be talking with our buddies Paul and Nate.
Crazy King Burrito.
Crazy King Burrito. All right. An ad for a local landscape company. Yep. These guys are different for good reason. For over 25 years, their team of landscaping professionals have provided folks with beautiful and award-winning backyard landscapes and hardscapes. Wanting to cook up some family time with an outdoor kitchen, feed the kids s'mores on a new fire pit, or create a relaxing outdoor design as the backdrop to your weekend leisure? Whatever you envision, they've done it and can help you create it. If you're in the market to turn your backyard bore into an outdoor oasis, you can trust the experts at Lemke to bring your vision to life. Lemke Landscaping and Design. Visit their website to view all the amazing work that they've done. Lemke Landscape. Now you know. Boom. All right. Welcome back to the Market Smarter, Sell More podcast. We are now joined by our friends from Crazy King Burrito. Who are you guys? Where you come from? What do you do? What's your names? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, stranger. Paul Geifing. I am one of the investors in the Crazy King Burrito franchise, the first one to be here in Indiana. Just started. We're going on week 9 now, and so far so good.
And
Great.
I'm Nathan. I'm the operating manager of Crazy King and owner as well, and just getting rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here with us today, and let's
Good to be here.
let's just get into it.
Dive into some questions.
So this is going to be easy conversation, and we're just going to chat about life and a little bit about business and get to know you guys and let our audience get to know you guys a little bit.
Sounds great.
Good.
Cool. So what have we got in the can here, Barnett?
We can hit them with whatever we want to. There's going to be some business, some personal, individual stuff to kind of learn about you guys.
I meant in your can that you're actually drinking.
Oh, my can?
That's the important thing of this whole podcast. Is
Most
the beer.
importantly, I'm drinking Grapefruit Jungle by our friends at Crazy King. Our friends at Sun King.
2 kings.
With our friends from Crazy King. How about you? What do you guys got?
We got a delirium tremens.
Tremens.
I think that means we have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Right? Literally.
I have no problem drinking at all. It's fine.
If you've been to Amsterdam? Well, yes. If Amsterdam's in a cup, I've been to Amsterdam.
I'm sipping on the Koi Deco by Sun King as well.
Nice.
Hazy IPA.
Nice.
All right. Well, what do you guys do?
Well, I'm going to let Nate jump into that, and then I can fill in anything. How's
So,
that?
I mean, we're a burrito place, focused mainly on burritos because that's what we do best. We have 14 menu items for burritos. We do them in Chico and supersize, as well as bowl options.
What does Chico and supersize mean?
So the Chico is a 12-inch tortilla shell. The supers are 14-inch, and then all the bowls are proportionally even to the supersized burritos.
Okay.
But
And so all of your dishes then, or all your burritos can become a bowl?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then we have 3 appetizers, guac, queso, and bean and cheese dip, and a couple of really good desserts as well that we make in-house. We have an icebox cake, which is like key lime pie, and some of the best churros around, in my opinion.
So
So-
good.
So what are the top 2 or 3 burritos that you sell?
So probably the number 2 asada, which is our steak. The number 4 tinga, which is our pulled chicken with adobo pepper sauce. And then we also have the Crazy King, which is our namesake. That's a surf and turf style. So it has our asada as well as some shrimp, chipotle sauce that we saute up with some onions and garlic. It's amazing.
One of my
Surf and
favorites.
turf.
Yeah, definitely a favorite of mine.
Crazy King's my favorite.
Yeah.
Second favorite is the chorizo.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great
Yeah,
too.
our breakfast burritos are amazing. The chorizo papa, ham and egg, good any time of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about your sauces.
So we have 3 house-made sauces. We have a verde, which is our mild, just your typical green salsa. Our chipotle salsa, which is our house sauce, that has a smoky flavor with a little bit of spice at the end. And then the Diablo's, no joke, has quite a kick to it. That's our spiciest. But yeah, so if you don't like spice, I would stay away from that one.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say?
I'd probably say it's close to 8, 9.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not kill you hot, but it's definitely leaves you a little sweaty and
Yes.
little sweat on the
Oh,
brow.
I had a little sweat on the brow. I'm a sauce guy, and I had all 3 of them. I kind of alternate between them,
Yep.
but I can't go straight
hot Diablo the whole time. I have to mix it up with some Verde and Chipotle in the middle.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I tell people. I'm like, if
Uh-huh.
you want to kick it up a notch, try the other sauces, see if you like them, and then put a few drops of the Diablo in. Because you can always add more, but once you take that bite, there's no
that's
going
right.
back.
There's no-
Heavy emphasis on the few drops.
Mhm.
So, what led you to start this? What's the story behind this?
Okay, so let me give you a little background on that. Food is one of my passions. Food service, customer service, and 10 years ago, we were actually looking into starting a pizza franchise down here. It would have been a license agreement out of South Bend was the company we were looking at. We had a space picked out. At the time, I had my own loan brokerage company, but I was looking for that. I'm following a passion for the first time in my life, to be honest with you. So the opportunity for the pizza was so close. We almost leased a space in Carmel, and they leased it out from under us. That went away. I ended up going back into banking 6 years later, 7 years later. This opportunity comes up because two of our closest friends from high school are next door neighbors with the folks that brought this franchise in from Cozumel.
Okay.
And there were three things mainly that I loved about it. One, the product is great. It tastes delicious. You can mix it up. You can get creative. Two, it's simple. And I think anything that you can do simply but do it better than anybody else is the way to go. And then three, the vibe of the place is just a little different. We're not trying to be the typical Mexican restaurant. We are not trying to be the typical taco truck or shop. We're somewhere in between, and it's a place that people like to hang out and eat there or carry out. So those three things really drew us to it.
Awesome. What kind of drinks do you guys have?
So we have Mexican Cokes, which has real cane sugar in it. So much better than what we have here. The Juaritos, which is a typical Mexican style soda. And then we have your Mexican beers, your Modelo, Corona. We have a Cayman Jack, which is a margarita malt beverage, and we teamed up with Beer Brewery, which is one of our neighbors.
Sure.
And we have a handful of their selections as well.
Yeah. Speaking of your neighbors, can you guys give us kind of a few coordinates of where you're at, how people could find you easily in Carmel?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to tell people is it's the Godby Plaza. It's the old Meridian Village Plaza on 31. The closest crossroads are 136 and Meridian. And it's been around for a minute, but it's in great shape. We've got Ollie's in there, Dollar General, the Beer Brewery. There's Korean, Italian, Chinese. We actually, having the Mexican in there, it rounded out that plaza.
Yeah.
But with the other companies that had already been up and running, there's just a new life in this plaza. And it's close enough to the Monon that we see a lot of bike riders, running clubs that start and finish their events there. So
And you said that's the old Forum Credit Union.
It was an old Forum Credit Union space at the end of the building. So when we took it over, they had already done so much of the work, the property owner, to remove the safe. We still have the overhang outside that's part of ours. That will be outdoor seating for anybody listening. Come see us when the weather's nice. And it's I don't know. I think we got an opportunity to move into a space that made a lot of sense from a carry out, drive up, walk up window, and sit down. It fits well.
Sure. I always miss the exit. I never know which one it is. 136.
Yeah, so
I got to drill that in my brain because I end up driving all the way down Illinois, all the way. And it's like from 116.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long trip. And then when I leave, I'm like, I got to remember which one this is. This is so much easier than what I just did. So,
the roundabouts don't make it easy. So even if you have the right exit, or if you're coming in from someplace other than Meridian, you're probably going to go, all right, now which one of these do I get off on?
Yeah.
But they're doing a better job of that, and they just repaved everything. So it's looking real nice.
Yeah. So just a quick brainstorm here. For our podcast guests, if one of them comes in to visit you, what should they say? Saw you on the podcast, or you want them to say something specific?
Oh, I mean,
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Hey, we caught your podcast, liked what you had to say. But what I encourage everybody who comes in here, and I'm sure we're going to give them a lot of information today, right? We're trying to, just a conversation, but ask questions. You come into the window, come in and look at the menu, and a lot of people are just like, okay, but can I customize that? I'm like, ask it out loud. We're here to to make what you want. So
Sure.
ask some questions. Ask us about the sauces, the drinks, everything we have.
That brings up the secret menu. That's kind of a little birdie told me something about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Tweet.
yeah. We're working on a few items to offer, mainly because I get bored with eating burritos every day. So I've thrown together some nachos that are out of this world. Some
What are on those nachos?
so I keep it pretty simple. It's just whatever meat you choose, queso, pico de gallo, and a little bit of guac. But I mean, the simplicity again, all those flavors mesh so well together. We have excellent queso we make in house.
Your guac is delicious too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's also made fresh.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the key is we start with all fresh ingredients. We prep pretty much everything that we have
Mhm.
in house every day.
Yeah, you can
Including
tell.
the churros, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Tell us about the process of making those things.
So churros is really quite simple. It's you boil some water, butter, sugar, salt, and add flour, let it cool down, add eggs and little flavoring, and then we have a little churro press that put it in to get that little star shape.
Mhm.
But I mean,
We're not going to tell you what that extra flavoring is in there. That's
the secret.
we'd have to
The
dispose of
secret,
you.
I
But,
was gonna say you make it sound super easy, and I guarantee I
Wait a
messed
minute.
that up.
We thought this was authentic Mexican, not authentic Italian.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh no! The first time I tried making it, I really screwed up the dough and had to toss it out. So I mean, there is a learning experience or learning curve to it, but after that first error, I got it down pat, and I mean to the point where health department called back saying how good it was.
Yeah,
So
our rep, she showed up to do her follow-up, and it went swimmingly, but she got food to go, and part of that was that churro, and she literally called Nate back to tell him they were amazing. That's
awesome.
a good
So-
sign.
Yeah,
so, I mean that's I take pride in everything I do, and
Sure.
we get compliments from somebody in the health department where it's like,
yeah, right.
they're around food all the time, and they don't eat at places that they don't want, or they know what it's like behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
right. That's big.
And we do a good, we try real hard to keep it just the way it was the day we opened. And
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the parking situation like up there at your place?
So good question. We have ample parking now. The majority of it is going to be south of our building. There's a huge open parking lot. And if I had to take a guess, you're talking a couple hundred spots available, right? So there'll always be a place to park.
Mhm.
Now, with our neighbors, we have Kid Strong over there, Brunchies, and beer, and a couple other folks, but they tend to eat up maybe half of the space. But even during the peak times, there's always a few random spots that they can find in front of our space.
Awesome.
And eventually, I think I mentioned, we're going to have that drive up window. Well, it's not a true drive through where you drive up and put your order on the screen. They'll be able to pull right up to the window with their mobile order and say, "Hey, I'm here to pick up for
Right.
Andy,"
Yeah.
right? And we've got it right there waiting for him, hand it out the window. So eventually that's going to make parking situation even better.
Awesome.
Don't have to worry about it.
And you guys have online, I get, online order and all that stuff like
Yep.
everyone else.
Even when we try to turn it off, we do. So yeah, it's a pretty good system too, the way they can customize. We had to, we work with the franchisor, Dave Shook, to kind of narrow some things down. Like, for example, we can't deliver beer. That doesn't fly. So we had to change some things, but for the most part, you can customize the heck out of anything you order there, and we'll take care of it. So.
Yeah.
Sure. And you guys also sell merch. I see you're both decked out and crazy. I tell you what, I don't know how many times I got to go visit or have them on podcasts before I finally get one of those hats.
I think there might be one in your mailbox this week.
I've been angling hard for one of those hats.
Are you? You
Yeah.
ask every time you go in?
Yeah, well, I compliment his hat. Like, I'm trying to hint him.
Hey, well, I think we're actually out. Was the
we are.
problem?
Yeah, I got it.
Now we've got that
Uh-huh.
one, which breast
is-
cancer awareness. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I look good in pink anyway, but it's because we ran out of the black ones, and
Yeah.
I left my hat at home the other day, and I was like, I might as well wear this.
I like the pink one too. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I prefer the black and white one
Yep.
the most.
Yep.
Yeah.
The trucker.
It looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your addiction support group, also called your loyalty program.
Yes. So the loyalty program, when you come in and you provide your phone number or email, you can sign up. Now you get bonus points that day for signing up. And by the time you come back in for the second visit, you'll have enough for a few dollars off your order. That's how quickly it stacks. And we did that on purpose. We had discussions about, hey, do we want to make this a little bit thinner? No, we want people to come back. It's important. When we said we wanted to be part of the community, we wanted to make it easy to come here. We didn't want to make it price oppressive. Come here, enjoy your meal, get your loyalty programs, come back and see us.
Yeah.
That's how restaurants, in my opinion, find success. People have to come back.
You guys, you guys are offering catering yet, or group orders, or how's all that working?
No, I'll let him talk about that. We've had some conversations.
So yeah, I mean, we're still working on fine tuning all that. So we haven't taken on any catering orders. I mean, we are capable of doing any large orders for offices, events, stuff like that. We just, we prefer, couple, 24 hours notice. That way we can make sure that
we have an order to put in for our group order. We're hosting a networking group here.
Yes.
What's the date of that? Do you know?
Next month. So
Excellent.
Sometime in October.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think there'll be 14 of us here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what I did was I put together an order form that would make it easy for whoever handles that in the office. They can fill that out. It has the drop down boxes for each of the selections, so you can customize. It shows you the cost, all of your options. And just to go back to the catering, I love the idea of catering, but part of what makes our burrito unique is the fact that we toast them, and you get a little bit of crispiness on all four sides without taking away that chewy deliciousness of a burrito. It's so hard to do that if you're catering, to build them and do that for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are sticking to the group orders for now, but if we come up with something very creative, we'll definitely be open to catering.
You mentioned the crispiness of that, and I know that's one of the options. I know when we order here, Berkeley always says, I want mine extra crispy.
That's
So
right.
that is something that people can ask for. Is
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they don't want that crisp and they want that, old, ungrilled burrito, we have options as well for just let us know that you don't want it grilled, and we'll just leave it as is. And
Or put the whole thing in a bowl.
yeah,
There you go.
I'll be honest, the bowls are my favorite.
Really?
Why?
Yes. You know what? It's strictly because I make a mess out of the burrito, and not because the burrito's messy. I'm just kind of messy when I eat it, and it's it's all over the place. And I'm like, if it's a bowl, I can self-contain it. Then I put the lid on it, and I take the other half home and eat it.
Take it with you.
So-
Yeah, because the portions in the bowls are huge.
Oh, they're huge. It's absolutely a couple meals for me.
And I would add to that, so a lot of people like texture, and the chewy texture or the slightly crispy texture of the shell when you order it is something that appeals to people. But when we have bowls, a lot of people ask for a few extra chips. So we've just been giving extra chips with the bowls, so you have that. And it's almost like having nachos, with that bowl right next to it. So
Yeah. That's cool. So has anybody weighed the Crazy King burrito? Because when I got the first one, I was like, this has to be 3 pounds.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it was ridiculous.
I don't know if it's 3 pounds. It's heavy. I mean, the thing is heavy.
Small child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could probably use it to knock someone out.
Do some
It has
curls
not
with
to
it.
Yeah.
Weaponized burrito.
I mean, we put 5 good sized shrimp in there, and I think it's 5 ounces of steak plus the beans, rice, lettuce, and everything else. I mean, so yeah, it's probably, I haven't weighed it, but I mean, my guess would be it's probably a good 2 pounds.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
that would be my
Yeah.
estimate. That would be my estimate. And you can always tell when you're wrapping a Crazy King or a Crispy Cali, because by the time it's done, you're like, who's going to eat that?
People do.
Yeah, they do.
They do. That's right.
Well, we make sure to tell them when they, if you're going to take it home, it's like, well, you can leave it in the foil, 350, 10 minutes, and they heat up beautifully. So
Yeah, that's what I did last time, because honestly, I forgot to order it in a bowl last time.
yeah.
I ordered and was like, I got the burrito. I was like, oh man, I forgot to say bowl, but it's just as delicious without. It was just
It really
messier.
is. Yeah, but for all of those that make that mistake, you call us back. We'll make
Yeah.
it right.
Oh, no.
We'd always make it right.
Yeah. Oh, I know you'd make it right. I was the one that ordered it wrong. So
Yeah,
it's like-
that's okay.
but
People do that.
The good thing is I like it both ways, so it really didn't matter.
All right. What's the strangest burrito that you guys have made?
All right, he's going to have to answer this one because he fields all of these online orders, and all of us gather around the screen and go, What?
I mean, there've been crazy ones where, you know, it's like they take everything off the burrito and then start adding their own ingredients. And I'm looking at it like, you could have just ordered this burrito and not done it enough. But I mean, I'd probably say the craziest one I've come across is we had this bodybuilder come in and had us put 2 shells together and got, I think, 4 meats in there. I mean, this thing was probably 4 or 5 pounds when it was done.
That's a true story.
Like the
This
burrito,
Joey Chestnut,
That's what you would think, right?
right?
but I mean, yeah, the burrito was probably about that big when.
It was
we got-
longer.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh,
almost the
that's-
length of the plate. So what he did, he goes, I love a challenge. Yeah, we'll do it. I didn't know how to price it, right? So he takes 2 of the shells and he made an incision in each one so he could interlock the shell
Oh,
to
that's
wrap them
right.
up. And it was a double shelled burrito with 2 14-inch shells.
Yeah, it was. So that's probably the craziest one I've made.
That had to be a 4-pound burrito.
Oh, carrying it out there took 2 hands. I mean,
Yeah.
And
So what was the verdict? Did he eat the whole thing?
he left about an inch or 2 at the bottom that he just
Oh.
couldn't finish. I know. I told some of the high school kids to go out and tell them that
He's
you know,
a
he has to
wuss.
finish, but
Yeah.
It's good to have an appetite. It's
You
not
big
good to
win.
be a quitter.
That's right.
but no, that was definitely the craziest one I've made so far.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy King.
yep.
Yeah.
So, are you the only location in the state?
we are
Right
we
now.
are right now.
Okay.
And I would suspect that the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 locations will be ours as well.
Okay.
We're focused here in central Indiana for now, but that's not to say that we won't be looking in north or south Indiana. There's some great markets all over the place.
Sure.
So right now we're the only one, but like 100 sold nationwide.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. If we don't do it, somebody else will, right?
Yeah.
So we better jump.
Right.
on it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Let's kind of dive into some personal stuff.
Sure. Sounds great. Motivation. What motivates you, Nate?
Oh, I mean, I've always loved being in the service industry. I mean, what I guess kind of keeps me going is my family right now. I mean, I got 3 kids and wife that, you know, I want to make sure that they have a great future. And
Yeah,
I mean, I know
absolutely.
this is going to offer that to them. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I love serving
Just taking care
good
of
food to
people.
people. I mean, I've been in the restaurant industry for 25 years now. And I mean, it's just been my life. I don't know. I've tried other things.
Do you cook
and-
at home? You
Yeah, when I get time. You know, it's like my wife and I. Depends on what we're cooking, but I mean, I'm the grill master at home, and you know, she, you know, but
Don't let him kid you. He serves like a sautéed, marinated octopus to his kids. So yeah, to say that he cooks at home is an understatement.
Is he force them to eat it with chopsticks too?
probably this is all their ideas. I mean, like I have a 4-year-old who's very, I don't know, exploring the world and just
Sure.
But yeah, so I mean, he wanted to try octopus one day, so I, you know, went out, bought one, and cooked it for him, and yeah,
What was the verdict?
he loved it.
Really?
Like,
So how do you cook one? Do you boil it or do you fry it? Or how do
the way I did it was I boiled it and then finished it off on the grill, and just very simple seasonings. I just used a little bit of olive oil and some fresh herbs, and I mean, it was wonderful.
I think the only thing you did wrong is you didn't save some for me.
Yeah.
Because all you did was send me the picture. I'm like, well, thanks.
Thanks for that.
Fail.
It looks great. I bet it tastes good.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, having kids definitely has been a big motivating factor. You know,
Sure.
trying to push forward in
Yeah.
careers, and
It's about somebody else now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
If there was a song track to your life, what is it?
God, that's a tough one.
That's what everybody says on that question.
yeah, that's a tough question.
Maybe Frank Zappa, More Trouble Every Day.
There you go.
I like that.
There's a good documentary about him on Hulu. It's in I haven't
Okay.
seen it. I've seen the preview for it. Super intrigued, and I put it on in my queue, but I haven't watched it yet.
I'll have to check that out because I'm a
Yeah.
huge Zappa fan, but I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
I had tickets
So-
to go see Dweezil and unfortunately got rescheduled.
That sucks.
But I'd like to see him too.
Yeah.
Paul, you an early bird or night owl?
I'm an early bird. It drives my wife batty because even when I sleep well, I'm up by 5:30, 6 o'clock,
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
and in fact, that's when I like to go prep. A lot of the times I'll go in there and knock out 2-3 hours of prep. And by the time he gets there, you know, hopefully have all that done, because
Mhm.
what else am I going to do with my time?
Yeah, right.
So,
Nobody's up at 5 a.m. Nowhere to go.
I mean, and I'm a night owl, so most of the time
Yeah.
I'm calling him to wake him up. You're like, hey, Paul, time to go prep.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go back.
Get to sleep, buddy.
my 3 hours of sleep, right?
That's great. Your theme song. Your
So, okay, my soundtrack. That's a great question. I think of all right, I'm going to go by a album from start to finish that just every song resonated with me, right? So, Shake Your Moneymaker by the Black Crowes.
Okay.
From start to finish.
Yes.
It's got some grit, it's got some melody, some soul, some
Mhm.
hard rock, and every track on there is just amazing. So that's what I would put on if I was going to, you know, put that montage up, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they played a lot of those songs on their unplugged set, which was just
Amazing.
man, amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
I missed that series. I mean, there were so many good
Yeah,
shows on
there
Unplugged.
was.
Yo,
Nirvana and
Yeah.
you know,
I haven't tuned in
Alice in
MTV
Chains
in
and
probably 15 years. I heard it's
No.
just a different
Pearl
world.
Jam. I mean,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
mackerel.
Yeah, it's not even that channel's not even. I mean, it's just like reality shows.
Yeah.
and stuff now.
The only thing that I say compares to that now is Austin City Limits. If you can catch a good show, you know, I've seen the Civil Wars on there and they were
Oh, sure.
ridiculous.
Yep.
Lots of people
Seen
on there,
Queens
yeah.
of the Stone Age on there and they
Yep.
were fantastic.
Yeah, and
Just-
they broadcast those live from all those different stages too,
Yeah.
which you can catch. That's the world of music right there.
Yeah,
That's it.
Right. Right. Well, I know we could talk about music for an extensive amount of time. What do you want? TV people? What are you
Oh, yeah.
watching?
Oh, that's a good question. So
What's the best thing you see
right
like?
now I'm watching Minx.
Okay. I
Um,
love that.
It's just creative. It's cool. It's in the 70s.
What network is that
yeah.
on?
It changed
um,
networks, didn't it?
it
Used to be
did.
on HBO.
Yeah,
and
now
then
it's Stars.
Okay,
I believe it's
yeah.
on Stars.
I haven't seen the second season.
But you know, it's got Jake Johnson in there, and the whole cast is off the charts good.
Yeah.
But the story is, you know, about, you know, women's rights, sexuality, and how it's changed. And that was they're trying to point to the fact that through, of all things, pornography magazines, that's how people started voicing their sexuality, and you know, it was okay to be who you were. So the story's fascinating.
That's the reason they
Really
bought, just to read the articles.
Yeah, that's right.
The
Yeah.
angel. Yeah.
You know, those articles, really good writers.
Yeah.
We
right.
always said,
Great
yeah.
writers, yeah.
What about you, Nate? You a TV watcher?
Oh, when I can. It's just like a lot of times I'll just throw something on just for background noise while I kind of unwind at the end of the night. But I mean, probably the best show I've seen recently is, and it really hit home because we just opened a restaurant, but The Bear.
Oh,
Yes.
I mean,
best show on TV right now.
Yeah, off the charts.
Mhm.
you know, just watching that, I'm just sitting here like, that's my life right now.
Yeah.
Like this, and they really did such a good job finally of showing what I think the restaurant world is like.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of the other shows have tried to explore, you know, the restaurant world. It's more comical or just doesn't really hit home for me.
Yeah, the
And-
restaurant wasn't the focus. It was
Yeah.
more the another character or
But-
you know, background.
Yeah.
Boom. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
Or they
right.
were focusing on a whole nother lens. It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
about the food, or
Yeah.
it was all about the culinary experience, or it was all about, you know, the operation of the kitchen. Where The Bear, in my opinion, brings the humanity into the equation,
Mhm.
the human experience into the equation, and the emotional element of the relationships of people inside the kitchen and outside the kitchen,
Yeah.
and their interaction with life and
Mhm.
the people that they serve. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that all of that 100% true. And I think they also captured the work and the stress and the time it takes to set and start up, because he was a part of every day of that, right? It was
Yeah,
him
and I
all
mean,
in.
one of the, you know, the big aspects of reopening the restaurant was all the permits and the process of
Just
those
went through
permits.
that, yeah.
Like you can't do this one until you have this one done, and you can't do this until you have that one done.
Yep.
And
Sequential.
you're on their timeline, right? And
Yeah.
so you can't control
Mhm.
some of that stuff, and it's kind of probably frustrating. And I know you guys experienced some of that, you know, opening up. You know, you had a few delays in your process, and
We did.
just things outside of your guys' control that happened during construction and happened with, you know, the approval process of getting your permits and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Throughout, it's just, you know, they come up, right? And you have to be ready to field them. But that's why it was nice to have somebody with, you know, 20 something years of restaurant experience. he was asking questions that we hadn't thought about, which is wonderful as an investor. And yes, I have a passion for food, but I've never run a restaurant. I've never managed a restaurant. So between the three of us, though, and my wife being very financially minded and conservative, I think we dotted just about every I we possibly could and crossed every T. But there was not a day that we weren't thinking about some kind of inspection, permit, second permit, and et cetera.
Yeah,
Sure. And that kind of led back up to one of these questions on the top half. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? What advice would you give to people other than don't do it?
No,
starting a new restaurant.
If you have a passion and you decide to go for it, do it. No doubt about it. Do your homework. But I think the very first thing I would do is find yourself somebody who can manage that project from start to finish, including the architecture, the drawings. That actually drives the entire process of the build out, the permits, everything that you have to complete before you get that certificate of occupancy and the right to open. So you've got to find somebody who can just take all of that. And I'm sorry, you may think you know how to put up drywall, but that has nothing to do with inspections and passing for permits. So hire the right people.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last question. What's the one question that you thought we'd ask that we didn't ask?
What's your day like? I thought you'd be like, what's a busy day like for you?
Sure, answer it.
So, well, let's go back a week. I'm going to talk about two scenarios. Like, and I want him to answer this too, because he's there a lot more than I am. But when you're there on a busy day, time passes so quickly. There isn't time. What's the phrase? If you're leaning, you should be cleaning.
Right.
Like, there's always something to do in a restaurant, but the time passes so quickly between having conversations with customers, which I love. That's a big part of my love for food service. But I would say that on a crazy day when you're overwhelmed, that's when you start to see your team come together if it's trained right, which he's done a wonderful job of. So we have people coming together, working, communicating, and getting these. I mean, we had orders sometimes. I'm like, how does a team of 5 get that many burritos out the door?
Yeah.
Well, we figured it out.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I mean, like he said, it's just constantly, on busy days, you're just constantly moving. There's always something to do.
But the time flies.
And most of the time you're, a half a step behind where you want to be, but you always find ways to get caught up and get it done. But with any job, any sort of retail, restaurants are the same. You're gonna have your busy times, you're gonna have your lulls. So I mean, too, it's a matter of being able to have fun with your staff.
Yeah.
Too during that slow
100%.
time, having those conversations that have nothing to do with work and
Sure.
it's like, so I mean, it's a good mix of socialization, hard work, and just
Rewarding there.
Yeah.
From a team. You know what I'm dying to do now.
Yeah, I got one more question.
Okay.
there,
Go
too.
ahead. You know what I'm dying to do?
No.
I'm dying to spin the wheel.
Oh yeah, I know you got your hand already on the button. All right, so it wouldn't be right if we had foodies on and we didn't ask them what their favorite dining experience ever was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So I know mine off the top of my head. If anybody's been to Joseph DeQuiz up in Roanoke, that is a quaint, tiny little town with a world-class restaurant. It's Wagyu beef with the genetic stamp right there on the wall when you walk in, so you know what you're getting. But it's not only that, but all the sides, all the other creative things they come up with, and they take care of you in a way that doesn't feel like you're dealing with pomp. You're just getting a world-class experience in a very laid-back, cool environment. So Joseph DeQuiz was my favorite
Could have
experience.
lied about that. I would have had no idea. You could have just made the name up completely. Oh yeah.
Well, that's his new restaurant. It's in Roanoke, Indiana, folks.
Yeah, go check it out. The quiz. Yeah.
I mean, mine has to be this little place down in Cancun, Mexico that I went to a few years back with my wife. It was in a house that was fine dining. I think we were one of the only 2 people or 2 tables that were in there that night. So I mean, it was almost like you're eating at home, but being served.
Right.
Right.
It sounds like you might have stumbled into somebody's family dinner.
Yeah.
Come on, Nate.
Well, and I mean, that's the way it felt. I mean,
Yeah.
the presentation of everything. I mean, I tried ant eggs
Oh,
or
wow.
ant caviar,
Wow.
which was
How was that?
surprisingly good.
Really?
I mean, it's this specific species that they have down there that creates larger larvae, and it just had a very like almost sweet, earthy taste to it.
Wow.
But I mean,
Earthy, I buy. Sweet, I wouldn't.
it was surprisingly good. Like, I mean, I would go back there and eat them again. I mean, it's a delicacy down that area.
Wow.
But
So what do they do to serve it?
so it was in this little, oh, almost crock type, like crock pot type thing that they came in, and you would, if I remember correctly, you just have like little, I don't know, like chips type thing that you could scoop it on, almost like caviar.
Okay.
But ants instead of fish. So I mean, it didn't have that like salty taste that you think of, with caviar. But yeah, I mean, it was just a really cool experience. Like, I mean, the like I said, it was this. I can't remember where he was from, but he was a European chef that had moved down there and opened a restaurant there. So it was kind of like a fusion of, European cooking with traditional Mexican cooking.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, it was wonderful. I mean,
What was it called again?
I have no clue.
That'd be a good name. I
have no clue.
I have no clue.
That's where I was at.
All right, spin the wheel, man.
Spin the wheel. You guys have no idea what you're getting here.
No, this is great.
Yes. We don't know what you're getting either, by the way. So here we go. Come on.
The picker wheel.
Picker wheel. Share this.
Here we go.
All right. Spin the wheel.
This is the final question wheel. Is this
Yeah. We haven't decided yet.
This is the next topic wheel.
All right, I like it.
Wow, it goes on for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's like drama.
Do we have to pay more to make it
It's
faster?
suspenseful. Oh, come on.
Dream vacation?
I like it.
I
All
love
right.
I think this was by design.
It was.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we picked it ahead of time.
I've been waiting.
It was
on that
10 to 1
I'm not gonna
odds
lie,
on
I picked all
UFOs
the
and aliens.
topics. I couldn't wait for somebody to pull up the aliens. What are your thoughts? Are they real? Are they living amongst us?
I don't know about living amongst us, but I'd be hard pressed to say that there's nothing or no one else out there besides us, because, well, we haven't even come close to hitting the edge of the universe or the galaxy that we live in.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine. So yes, I do believe that there is something out there, and I believe they probably have made contact at times.
I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, just you think about it, and was it Fermi's law?
Yeah.
I mean, that many stars, that many galaxies.
Right.
I mean, there has to be something else out there, but
Right.
I don't know if they're here. I mean,
Well, we'll find out if we get an online order for Crazy
Okay.
delivered to Pluto.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a hard time with
Yeah,
that.
with all those sightings, we don't seem to care. That's the amazing thing is nobody seems to care anymore.
Right.
Well,
Like,
and- oh, that's the thing too. It's like, the U.S. government came out and said, yeah, we have UFO technology
Yeah.
and bodies, and
right.
nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
Nobody batted
That's
an
right.
eye to that. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
20 years.
I think the fact that they're hiding it automatically, in most people's mind confirms that it's true.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
It's like,
If they
well,
just
if
admit it,
it
nobody
wasn't
cares.
true, you just come out and tell us all this stuff.
Right,
Right.
Right. There are sometimes when there are, I'll call it a wave or a trend of alien-based movies on TV, and I'm like, I just wonder if they're like, release those. We're trying to prep the public for
Yeah.
the big reveal.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It's funny because the same thing happens with sexuality in the U.S. and the economy and the stock market and how things get crazy and people lose billions of dollars. I mean, it's all happening, but I always see those movies coming out in big chunks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's hot, and then you get the copycats.
That's right. That's right.
Well, hey guys, thanks for coming here. Where can people find you online? And we know about your physical location, online websites.
Yeah,
Facebook?
absolutely. CrazyKingBurrito.com. And you can also you can make your online orders from there. But if you want to come see our physical location, our sole location right now is in Carmel, 13756 North Meridian Street. It's in that plaza. It's in, you'll see it when you pull into the Meridian Village Plaza. But more to come. We're looking at Westfield, Fishers sooner than later.
Noblesville.
Noblesville.
Just planting a seed.
Yeah.
I mean, that is my hometown, so
Yeah.
that's where I grew up.
See,
So I
okay,
mean,
all right,
I think I
Yeah.
can,
you got to take care of
nudge them
your.
along
Yeah.
a little bit
Create
for
some
you.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Recruiting? Come
Sorry.
on, man.
Yeah. I'm trying. Noblesville.
That's great. Well, hey guys, thanks. Really appreciate it, and hope to have you back here soon. And we will see you very soon at Crazy King
On the
Burrito.
way out, you got to do the Crazy King Burrito thing.
Crazy King Burrito.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for having us, you guys. Can't wait to come back.
Yes, awesome. Thanks.